the theme of our lecture is subject of crime, and that's why we have to try to analyze the characteristics of what just pardon me. So I'll try to give you this information. So that is the lecture on subject of crime. It's your chart if you wanna look at it. Well, which I just prepared a year ago. Well, what do we have to do in the situation when we are saying about subject of crime? The case is that you remember that the last lecture will discuss the possibility and difference between elements, such an elements of, as subject of crime and personality. Well, crime person or criminal person. Well, it's very interesting and it's very unspecific because who would be responsible for a crime? You know that there are three main figures in legislation in force. Some people said about two figures. Well, when we say about criminal legal relationships in a classical conservative manner. Well, from the other points of view, well, there is another view, well, in another position. When we're saying about classic view, we're saying about the state from one side and the perpetrator from another. So the relationship between state and perpetrator, well, are the essence of criminal legal relationship, the essence of criminal responsibility, release from responsibility, and so on and so forth. It is understandable due to classical view. From the other point of view, well, during 20 years since, if I'm not mistaken, since 1995, or not 20, 25 years since 1995, just in my works and in some works of my colleagues from different countries, there was well, an attempt to say that there should be a third, and I should just say that there should be four figures which are working with criminal relationships. You remember the third figure is victim of crime, and the last one, is third persons. What do I say about third persons? You know that due to legislation in force, we have no specific elements, also called, well, social slash social slash state criminal responsibility. In the Soviet era and the Soviet Union, we have this responsibility. For example, in the Criminal Code of Ukraine of 1960, there was a possibility to release a guy from criminal responsibility and put his case to so-called comrades court. The case is that if we will reform our judicial system, well, I just love it now because the reform of judicial system, that's a permanent tradition in this country. Well, every president wants to reform his judicial system or wants to put it out for his own reasons. Just now I'm reading, just as you prepared an article on the procedure of selection of judges, European Court of Human Rights in Ukraine. That's very interesting. That's, well, as usual, the knowledge of second language is connected with the meaning and understanding of certain documents. In the position of our president and commission, it is connected with the oral practice. I can't understand it, but they just prepare a specific document this day under which they will start this discussion in some way. So what we're saying about criminal responsibility in case of social governmental responsibility, it means that if we change the situation with our legislation, and if we involve in our judicial system system of well, small claims courts, it would be connected with criminal misdemeanors. Well, it would be connected with other offenses, which at which the third persons, especially people's unities, sometimes, well, civil society will play a specific role. I don't know whether it would be or not, because you know that now, well, the well, request of our president to cut off an administrative, a Kiev's administrative court from the system is a very specific one. Sometimes it's, well, I know that legal definitions of legal dimensions in this country are very interesting, but not only in this country, just that is a Byzantine system under which the people who are in first places or in high places want to control everything. That's why, for example, when we're saying about problems of judicial sovereignty, judicial impartiality, or, well, problems of judicial immunity, yes, as judicial independence. Well, one can say that somewhere at well, the middle of Ukraine, near Poltava, and somewhere else, well, we could be faced upon a situation when a judge, a prosecutor, head of militia, and one lawyer are connected together somewhere. I can't say anything about the, well, head of the region or district administration, but that is the same situation we have. Well, regarding responsibility and regarding these parts, you understand that state, perpetrator, victim, and third parties are involved in the process of criminal responsibility. From the other point of view, well, it is very interesting because I was highly criticized on the ideas of victims' involvement in this process, but if you look for the concept of Criminal Code of Ukraine, well, pardon me, I will try to find it to you. So if you look for the concept of Criminal Code of Ukraine, you will find that when they say about the aims of criminal law, yes, just wait a minute, please. Well, when they say about the aims of criminal law, they they say that just can't find. Wait a minute. Just my search system can't find it in English as well. Try to. use. So if we look to the project of new criminal code, just look at the article first. I will give you now. So an article first of new criminal code of Ukraine. That is the link if you want to analyze it. This new criminal code after one lecture or during it. So just look at the first paragraph. Yes, the criminal code of Ukraine is unified in the sole law of Ukraine, which on the principles of rule of law just try to regulate relationships between state, victims, and criminals. So state, victims, and criminals are three figures. Just by the way, if you look through the new project, one can't find the category of the victim exactly just in case when we're saying about, for example, restitution and compensation. But that's a great effort and great position for us. Just will ask you one question. Maybe you know what does it mean. What does it mean to crime job? Do you know something about it or not? Exactly. You want to raise your hand and I will give you the floor. Nope. Okay. Well, as usual, in criminal legislation not in criminal legislation, but the criminal practice of nowadays, most people say and most media say that crime is rising. Yes, we are looking for homicides in every part of the world. We're looking for mass tortures. We're looking for information about such things, but that is a case which is connected with the showing crime in the media. Media crime means that we have to be feared. Fear of everything is very popular and very useful tool to sell. For example, now we all have trying to get information about coronavirus. Yes, well, yes, COVID-19 is a very huge problem for every country, not only for Ukraine, but I can say that it's hard to resist. It's hard to be in a good health for everybody exactly now, and I'll be very happy if you will be healthy, fitness and fit every time. But from another point of view, it's very interesting and very useful to sell something, to say, guys, that is a new medicine for making it very, very active, where we have to vaccinate and so on and so forth. Yes, my position is that everybody have to vaccinate. That is because, IgM cells that we have in our blood are lost from one point of view. From the second point of view, vaccination gives us the possibility to minimize the risk. Yes, sometimes people said, well, there are different kinds of well, vaccinating processes or vaccinating ideas, or and so-called Johnson and Johnson vaccines are not working so properly as, for example, Moderna or Pfizer. But the case is that we should do that. Exactly. Well, just when I say, for example, $1 Sinovac Chinese was signed. Well, Chinese authorities said that it has only 50% of their effectiveness, but it is 50%. It is 50% to be alive. And everybody will have to be involved in this process. That's my point of view. Well, just some people say, well, it is not obligatory. As for me, I will give that obligatory to every citizen of every country. It's hard to be in these processes now, and nobody know what we will wait for tomorrow. You say to understand that. 2 days ago, President of the US, Mr. Biden, said that we have to be prepared to the new pandemic. Well, the new fear, yes. Some people like for us to be feared. And fear of crime is one of the huge fears which used, for the aims of prevention, which is used for the aims of manipulating people, which is used for many aspects of being connected with the specific elements of criminal policy. For example, I'm just saying that now we have a rise. Well, that's a real situation. New York City. Media said that there's a rise of homicides and rise of attempts against white pensioners, people who are living alone. You know that in the US there's a tradition that parents are living alone from or standing alone from their children. That's why, well, just a lone babushka is vagabonding somewhere in the street of New York on the lane, and people and juveniles from minority, from Latino or from Afro-American society just assaulted them. And media said that assaults in the New York City during this period of time are of huge amount, that they're rising. Yes, nice. But the result, the case is that during this period of time, it was, if I'm not mistaken, 2006 or 1996, I can't remember now, but if you want, I'll go find it. So during this period of time, there was no crime rise, but crime drop in these categories of crime. But the legislators of the New York State just put a special law against juvenile offenders, harshing their punishment. That is the result. That's the result of criminal policy. That's the result of manipulating people and so on and so forth. Just we are manipulated every day, is exactly in the media or in specific resources like internet, and because now we're saying about, well, media revolutions. Yes, some media moguls are just cut off presidents from their networks. What do we have to say in this situation? Fear is a fear. And the crime drop, that's the main tendency which we have in so-called G7. So governments like the United States, Canada, well, Great Britain, Germany, well, Japan, and so on and so forth. So these countries, crime is dropping since 2000. And one of the main causes of this dropping is involvement of victims in the process of negotiating with the offender. as usually, giving the rights to victims to compensate, give them the possibility to be more involved and more effective. That's why I'm very happy to say that from one point of view, our just guys and girls and our professors who are working on new criminal legislation give their best for recreating this new model. From the other point of view, it's very, very specific element. What does it mean in specific element? The specifics of victim is connected with that the victim is a procedural figure. Main rights and main obligations of victim are connected in criminal proceeding. Due to criminal law, victim's characteristics means and should be involved in the process of jurisdiction. When we're saying about, for example, the real principle of criminal jurisdiction, well, victim's characteristics should be involved in the characteristics of criminal responsibility. When we're saying about mediation and so on and so forth, or probation, but it's a procedural rule. And in third, victims' characteristics should be involved in the process of compensation and restitution. Since we're getting new ideas, or since we are seeing a huge amount of words on the characteristics of the role of the victim in criminal law and special part, I can say that victim, that's a part of object of crime. As for me, an object of crime, and we'll just discuss it with you, should be substituted to victim. Because the victim, that's the central figure. And what we are saying about the victim on or in international manner, some people could say, or we are who could say that that should be well, a very specific and very useful element in that. When we're saying that an object is a victim, once you said in international matter that the victim is a state, the victim is a well, people's unity, like well, juridical person or social group, and the victim is an individual person. That is the case, because well, in international manner, we're saying about that. From the other point of view, offender. What does it mean to be offender in legislation in force, in Ukrainian legislation in force? Let's look to the criminal code and let's try to analyze it. Let's try to analyze it. So in Article 18 of Criminal Code of Ukraine, well, from one point of view, it's very useful to use internet and to use internet resources for giving you a specific documents or specific elements of crime. But from the other point of view, there is there's some elements which should not be analyzed in a proper manner. Sorry, yes. And these elements are connected with that I can't see your eyes, I can't see your eyes, and that's why I can't be properly sure that you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so next point we are having to analyze. It doesn't want to be put here, but I can't say why. just the next point we have to analyze. That's the subject of criminal offense. Due to law enforce, the subject of criminal offense, well, is a physical person. That's all. It's very interesting, but because no, I can't do that. I don't know why, but if this way you'll try to find criminal court article 18, the next one, and should analyze it properly by yourself. Not they can't be put into this room. I don't know why. Maybe something changed with my internet resource or something else. So when we're saying about criminal offenders, we're saying that these are the specific kind of people. What does it mean? Crime is committed by subject of crime. That is why subject of crime, that's a specific legal state of physical person. The specific legal state of physical person means that in criminal law, there are a specific position, the specific features which constitute the possibility to people to be involved in as subjects of crime. Why do I say about that? Why do all the people can't be the criminals? Well, everybody should be a criminal, but from the view of criminal law, there should be a specific, well, legal state of characteristics which are connected with first with age and the second with sanity. So due to criminal law in force, the subject of crime should be, well, we have only 10 minutes to go, well, but if I'm not mistaken, we have the same element to be involved. If not, you are welcome to see the last part in to do it after on my web resource. Okay, now, so the subject of crime means legislation in force. Subject of crime means that we should be prepared, and we should organize the elements of well, crime, of subject of crime into two matters: age and sanity. Subject of crime and persons of crime. It's a very interesting problem, because persons of crime is mostly criminological characteristic of crime. And when we're saying about person, well, I can say, well, hourly about person, about the ideas, about the processes, and so on and so forth. For example, criminal personality is connected with psychological characteristics, is connected with psychiatric characteristics, is connected with biological characteristics, is connected with, gene characteristics, and so on and so forth. Because sometimes different parameters are involved in the process of criminal decision. For example, males are more, some people say that males are more aggressive than females. Some people say that, well, this day, for example, just I look through a specific word or criminal well, influence on criminal characteristics of hormones. And some people say that, for example, the high level of testosterone or high level of estrogen and sometimes should be involved in the situation. And that's true. For example, people who sick of diabetes, they have a specific possible, well, specific reaction, especially in case when they have a diabetical coma, and that's when this situation, they should be excluded from criminal responsibility. They want to eat for being alive. That's the case. From the other point of view, some people said that, well, criminals have a very specific minds, and due to that, they should be not should be punished, but should be mostly uh, well treated with the help of something. Just look at the link I will give now, and here at this link you will find a photo of the brains, and the green zones of these brains, so-called abdominalis, are more influenced in criminals. By the way, Jose Delgado, somewhere the 60s, the laureate of Nobel Prize, find the centers of aggression in people's mind. But can we manage it? Can we be involved in this process? No, because we're seeing that crime, this well, mindful behavior. That's why we can't do that. From other points of view, we're saying about people's personality and analyzing the people's personality, it is useful in case of in such a case like such a cases like, for example, well, sentencing. Because when we're penalizing some such behavior, we want to work with this category. So sentencing gives us the possibility to do that in a proper way, in a proper manner. When we're saying about such an element as, well, traditional characteristics, female and males, yes, gender, yeah. Gender characteristics are involved in criminal code too, because gender should be noted during the selection of punishment. Some punishment should not be, for example, passed to women. From the other point of view, some punishment should be more harsh. One of the greatest professors, Ukrainian professors, Miss Merkulova, who is working in the University of Internal Affairs of Odessa, just prepared a monograph, Women Criminals. I just like it, but from the other point of view, women criminals, in case of understanding of criminal law, are connected and are involved only in the idea that women criminals should be more well, sensitive to some kinds of punishment. The cases connected with the social role of the women. Age. Could we say some words about juveniles and juvenile corrections, or elders, when elderly people can't commit a crime? As usual, crimes are committed by the youngers from 25 to 30, or from 19 till 30, and these kinds of people is mostly active. That's why, for example, some people said that in Europe people became elder, that's why they're not so criminally active, and that's why the crime drop is connected to that. Maybe, but the main part is involvement of people in the process of justice, and the involvement of people in the process of making rule of law understandable for all the people. When some people say, well, guy, I am the new president, I just changed all the rules, that's not a rule of law. That's a Byzantine. That's a, well, emperor, and it's, well, satraps. But from the other point of view, we are working in a civilized society. Yes, yes, there are some dimensions, there are some processes which are, well, evolved in, but I can't say that it is very popular. Person of crimes is you, a person of criminal is very useful in the case of well, analyzing and aggravating parts of criminal activity. For example, recidivists, yes, for example, people who are professional thieves or professional criminals. We have a professional criminals due to, well, not our tradition. Yes, one more thing, or not one more thing, the other ideas, the another ideas are three parts. These are one is general characteristics of subject of crime. These are the characteristics of subject of crime which are connected with special subjects. Well, as usual, it is not very interesting because special subjects, well, our criminal code is over specialized. But from the other point of view, it is useful. You should use my link in my lecture to look at it, and I hope that it will be useful to you because I have pointed 40 minutes of information on this case. The third problem is juridical persons. The juridical persons are not the subject of crime, but they are the subject of responsibility. That is why some people said that it is quasi-subject, but I can't say that because at the situation in Ukrainian law, we are not involved in. That is the main problems and the main ideas I want to share with you these days. Thank you guys for coming. Just look at the points of the lecture which I give to you, and well, I hope that we will meet sometimes we will meet not in a way of being involved in this situation.